Support WrestleTalk!
Be kind to each other in the comments.
Please give me Karrion Kross versus Samoa Joe. Please. It sounds delightful, and it was teased even more on this show. Welcome to the NXT podcast review. No, welcome to the WrestleTalk podcast review of NXT. There it is. I'm Chopper Pete Cornell, your Jam That Champion, and I'm joined as always by my intangible co-host, your Quizzlemania champion, Tempest, the wrestler. And we're going to talk about this episode of NXT. Make sure to get in your Ultrachats, WrestleTalk.com/support. Get in your messages there because we're going to be going through all the ones that are $5 and up before the end of the show. And also, if you're here, subscribe and enable notifications. We've got the Money in the Bank predictions happening immediately after this stream. So you guys can go on there and check out everyone's Money in the Bank predictions because everyone's going to be vying for this title. But anyway, let's talk about this episode of NXT. We're going to start off with the main event, which was Karrion Kross versus Johnny Gargano for the NXT Championship. Now, the first thing we really have to address here, this is very, very important. The first thing we have to address about this match is they had intangibles.
Yes. Oh, intangibles. And they were dumb. They were dumb again.
They were really dumb. They were really dumb intangibles. I love it. So we had the adaptable. I already spoiled one. The intangibles for Johnny Gargano were adaptable, endurance, ring IQ.
Not adaptability and endurance.
Nope. Adaptable and endurance. Yep. Every time. Adjective or noun. Sort it out. I can't get over Karrion Kross's one. Karrion Kross, dominant striker, which is just still my favorite. Dominant striker, judo grappler, strength. I just love the contrast. Dominant striker, judo grappler, strength. Like,
he's strong.
I just love it when it was. I think it's the combination of being three syllables, one syllable. It just made it dominant striker, judo grappler, strength. It just got nothing else to say. Not powerhouse, not power, not anything that we see in anyone else. Strength is all it is.
Which again,
God love it.
Very tangible.
Yes, incredibly tangible.
The most tangible asset you could have is strength.
God, intangibles are so stupid. I love them. I love them so much. I hope they never go away. They provide me with so much joy. Anyway, this match I thought was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this match. I don't think it's been like the best main event that NXT's done recently or anything. I don't think it was at the same level of any of the big like Great American Bash matches, like some of the top Great American Bash matches. I don't think it was on that level, but I do think it was a lot of fun. There was a rough looking spot where Kross just kind of I forget the name of it. It's like a choke bomb, whatever it's called, into like the
slam. They called it at one point.
Sure, yeah. And he does it into the corner of the announce desk for Johnny's back, just into the corner of the desk. Looked awful. Looked so bad. It's
very rare. It's very rare for me to like pop during a match when I'm not on stream and go like, "Oh my god!" But that was one of those moments where it's like, "Oh Jesus Christ!" Thankfully, he's okay. Fightful Select has reported since then that he is okay, but
God, and he had a brilliant sell of that as well. He just like was not moving for a bit. He was literally just like on the floor, just like hand in his back, just like yeah. And you could tell if there was more audio, you could tell he was probably lying there just being like the whole thing because that looked rough. But it led into a really fun match. I think the main purpose of the match, my only criticism of this, and it's not really a criticism because it's what they were trying to do in the first place. It's just because I really like Johnny Gargano. Is the main focus of this thing was really Joe versus Kross. That was the idea of this match, with Samoa Joe being the special guest referee. The idea was to build more tension between those two. And Johnny Gargano was basically just a pawn in this chess match that they've got going on. But there were some really close near falls for Johnny later on in the match. So many points where Joe was getting involved. There was a point where Kross had the... God, what does he even call it? His choke. Does he have a name for the choke? He just chokes people out, whatever it's
I'm really
called.
bad with NXT finishers, I'll be honest.
Yeah, man. I was going to call it the Coquina Clutch, and I'm like, no, that's Joe. Whatever. He has the choke thing on Johnny, but Johnny makes it to the ropes, and it gets Joe gets to a count of 4 and literally like pulls Kross off Johnny. And then they gotta get into each other's faces, like just walking. Cross jacket. Thank you very much, Dion Stewart, in the chat. That's the one. Yeah, and they get in each other's faces. There's a lot of tension between them, and it leads into this very close near fall for Johnny, where he manages to hit like a couple super kicks, does the one final beat. It's a really close near fall for him on there, which is great. But in the end, Kross comes back, hits a bunch of power bombs, elbow to the back of the head, and yeah, just pins Johnny for the win. The match itself, before we get into the post-match angle, I thought the match was really good. My only issue with it was that Johnny wasn't more of a big deal, but I don't think that was the point, in fairness to NXT, which is just a shame because I like Johnny. But
yeah, we've been talking the last few weeks about how we want Johnny Gargano to be this big baby face like he was way back when, but it doesn't really seem like that's the direction they're going. He might still end up as a baby face, but maybe not like the top baby face in the company, which... Fair enough. We kind of assumed that might happen more so just because Karrion Kross was looking like he was going to get called up to the main roster, and they were going to look to get the title off of him as quick as possible, and they haven't gone that direction, at least not yet. So that aside, I really did like this match. You know, it told a very simple story. Big man, bad. Little man, good. And you've got the referee in the middle to... He didn't get involved that much, like to the point where you could say like, oh, he's handing this match to Johnny Gargano or anything. He was calling it down the middle, but he wanted to make sure it ended by pinfall or submission. So he made sure that the guy who was going to get disqualified didn't do that. So props to Samoa Joe, because I'm not usually a big fan of the special referee thing. I think more often than not, it's a distraction from the overall match itself, but I didn't feel like that was the case here. I enjoyed it, even though it was kind of like, we know that's where they're going if Samoa Joe can get cleared. That's the direction, not another Kross Gargano match. So I felt like everything just kind of meshed well in this match. I didn't come away from this thinking that any one bit overshadowed any other bit.
Yeah, that's totally fair. But then we got the really exciting bit for me, which was Karrion Kross choked out Samoa Joe. They got in each other's faces again after the end of the match. Joe kind of turns around, walks away, but before he can get out of the ring, Kross chokes him out and leaves him laying at the end of the show. And that's really exciting for me because they're doing more and more overt teases of Joe wrestling again. And I think if NXT didn't have plans to have Joe wrestle, they wouldn't have done this angle. I think they're smart enough to know that if you do this angle, people will think that Joe is going to wrestle. And if Joe doesn't do a wrestle, people are going to be mad about it because this is like the most overt tease they've done. And I think if it was main roster, I probably wouldn't have the same faith. But because it's NXT, I think they've got a good enough track record that I think they wouldn't have done this unless they had plans to have Joe wrestle. So that excites me because I want Joe versus Kross. I want Joe versus Cole. I want Joe versus everyone, really. But Joe versus Kross, yes, please. Joe versus Cole, they're also teasing on this show as well. I'm really excited to see Joe back. I think he's going to be such an asset if he does get to wrestle again.
I think so too. I mean, that would inject such life into NXT, and we don't know that he's cleared, but I would like to think that he is for the same reasons that you just gave. That I hope that they wouldn't promote and tease these matches if they weren't going to do them. I know Vince McMahon doesn't like doing that, and I know Vince doesn't run NXT. He does, but you know what I mean. I hope we get that, because if we don't get matches, it feels like we're running through this Samoa Joe as the enforcer of NXT thing really quickly. Like, he only showed up like a month ago to start doing this, you know, and I mean, there's still a lot of brawls backstage, so I don't know that he's doing that job that well. But it just feels like we're moving very quick. And that might be because they want to get Kross up to the main roster. It might not. But I don't know. I hope we get it. I just want things to be justified by the end, because now I think it's a little bit messy.
Yeah, I 100% agree. But I'll also say as well, leaving at the end of the show, they've done a really good job since probably Stand and Deliver, or I guess In Your House. They've done a really good job of making me hate Karrion Kross. Because now I want Joe to murder him. It's partially because I just want to see Joe wrestle, but also because I want to see him get back at Kross now. I don't like Kross in a good way. Like, I still, I respect him as much as I did before as a performer. It's nothing against the person, but against the character, I now hate the character. And that's exactly what I should be feeling against this big dominant monster heel that they've been trying to build up. So now I think they've done a really good job of making me want to see him get his ass kicked. And I'm excited to see that happen. So I think they did a really good job here of furthering Kross's character as well, to make him to the next level of like, boo this man, out and out heel now.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm excited to see it. I think Samoa Joe and him would be a really good matchup, because often when you put the two big guys together, it's like two tanks, just boom, boom. And it doesn't quite work out the same way that you might think it would, but Samoa Joe is such a good wrestler. He's the super heavyweight in size alone, but he works like a much smaller man. And that mixed with his believability, I think is the perfect counter to Karrion Kross being this big, mean ass kicker. It just works. It works. And it's a different kind of story you could tell than if he goes up against Kyle O'Reilly or somebody.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But let's get into some of your Ultra Chats. Let's see what you guys thought. Make sure to get in your Ultra Chats. WrestleTalk.com/support is the link to go to. Link is right there on the screen. And at the top of the description as well. Get in your Ultra Chats, because we're going to be going through all the ones that are $5 and up before the end of the show. Rebecca Siddle comes in to say, great show overall, despite the index segments. And why was Mandy Rose there? Oh, we'll get into that. Isn't stinking up Raw enough? Anyway, love the main event. Got a laugh out of the intangibles. I think you guys are being worked by NXT's approach to intangibles. LIW 444 life. Oh, man. The amount of times that people just say, well, you're just getting worked, aren't you? It's becoming a thing now. It's becoming a meme at this point. It's being like, well, they're mad about something. Well, they're getting worked, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Rebecca. I can appreciate your opinions. And the intangible one, Cliff Beard. That's a good No Rosbard reference. It says, really good NXT show tonight. But did you guys see the WrestleVotes tweet about Mandy being traded for Aaliyah? Also, Tempest, don't hate on Lumis. He had a good match tonight, and the stuff in the commercial was fun between Index. That stuff is subjective.
And incorrect.
We'll get into the whole Dexter Lumis stuff later. I did not see the WrestleVotes tweet about Mandy Rose and Aaliyah being traded.
Oh, God. I'm sorry.
Cool.
I don't know. It's not cool. It's not cool. I'll be perfectly honest. That sounds like a horrible idea. Like,
I mean,
I don't want to be cruel or too harsh, because I'm sure she's very nice. But in what world are we putting Aaliyah on the main roster? She couldn't do a hip toss in this match.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm just checking the WrestleVotes tweet now. While I'm not sure why, source says it seems like a trade went down between rosters. Raw trades Mandy Rose to NXT for Aaliyah.
Awful.
I mean, I don't think Aaliyah should be on the main roster. I'm with you. But also, I don't really care that much. It's not like, what Mandy Rose should be on the main. She's great. I don't feel that strongly about Mandy Rose either. So it's not, I don't feel, like, oh my God, Mandy Rose got screwed, or like whatever. Oh, we're not going to see Mandy on the main roster anymore. Like, that's whatever. She's fine. And Aaliyah is, whatever. I don't really care. I'll be honest. I don't really care. It's fine.
I don't have to watch Raw, and I won't. So it probably won't affect me that much. But like, what's the point of developmental?
I don't know.
You know, what's the actual goddamn point?
I don't know if NXT is developmental anymore. I think Evolve is developmental, and NXT's like NXT is developmental, and Evolve is sub-developmental, and then NXT is also sort of a third brand, but also not. It's weird.
Yeah, Raw got hosed in this deal.
Yeah.
For all my hockey fans out there, NXT is the Chicago Blackhawks trading Duncan Keith to the Edmonton Oilers. There's a reference.
Yeah. That one. Sports. Anyway, let's get into the rest of the show. We'll get into more of your Ultra Chats later on. Make sure to get those in. WrestleTalk.com/support. And we'll go through all of those later on that are $5 and up. But for now, let's get on with a review of the rest of the show. Leah on the main roster. Wild. Sorry, I'm still kind of getting over that. We got a recap of the Great American Bash to start off the show. And then we got Ember Moon versus Dakota Kai. Now, there has been confirmation that Shotzi Blackheart's name on the main roster is now Shotzi, as was confirmed by the commentary team on this show, just calling her Shotzi, which is fine. That's okay. It's not the worst name in the world. But then we got, Ember Moon versus Dakota Kai. I thought this was a really good match. These are two very good wrestlers, and they had a very good match. Great. Good stuff, guys. Very fun, I thought. Very fast-paced, but it was pretty good. And then it is Go to Kick. Still the worst name.
It's the worst name for a finisher. Ever.
I've seen people saying that they think it's called Dakota Kick. Like the Dakota Kick. Like Kota Kick. No. It's Go to Kick. Like go to sleep, but you kick them. So she's gone, instead of sleep, it's kick. Go to Kick. Didn't it make sense? God.
Oof.
Anyway.
Yeah, I thought this was a really solid match. You know, like it didn't blow my socks off or anything, but as far as like an opening match to an NXT after a special, I thought this was perfectly fine.
Yep. I agree. And then we got a cool moment afterwards where Xia Li came out. I mean, Xia Li coming out, I was like, okay, sure, whatever. Really badass moment though, where she just walks up and Dakota Kai is like, hey, what are you going to do? And she just walks straight past her. I was like, that's cool.
Nice.
I'll give you that. Give you that, Xia Li. Just walks straight past her, goes up to Raquel Gonzalez and was like, hey, I want to fight you. And Raquel goes, all right. Yeah. Cool. Xia Li versus Raquel Gonzalez, I guess, which I don't have any particularly strong feelings about. I'll be honest.
No, I see. This is the issue where I have not particularly cared about the whole Tian Sha thing. And it's been going on for a long time, like months and months and months since Boa and Xia Li started getting like kidnapped or whatever the storyline was.
Yeah.
I just don't really care. And they started doing the thing with Mei Ying and Mercedes Martinez, and that was it in your house. That was like a month ago, and we never got follow-up. And granted, yes, Mercedes Martinez got a concussion when she was kicked in the head, so she hasn't been on TV since then. But I haven't been given a reason to care about all this, and it's not hooking me so far. So I'm not super interested in seeing a title match either. My big takeaway, because I got a lot of flack last week when I said that Ember Moon hasn't done anything in NXT and whatnot. By the end of this segment, Ember Moon was the fourth most important person involved.
Yeah.
She lost the match and then was not factored into the post-match angle whatsoever. You could basically forget that she was even there. Oof, Maron. Good Lord. This poor Ember Moon. I mean, everyone talks about like, oh yeah, send them back to NXT. This shows that is not just a quick fix. They will mess you up just like the main roster has. Realistically, what difference has her main roster and second NXT runs have been? Like at all. He didn't do anything on the main roster. She got a title shot at SummerSlam. She's done nothing in NXT. She got a title shot at In Your House. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's a Spider-Man meme. It's just those two pointing at each other. Like,
oh Lord, I want so much for Ember Moon.
Yeah, it's a shame. We then got a backstage promo, which was previously on YouTube thing earlier in the day or whatever, which was Diamond Mine backstage. Malcolm Bivens cut a little promo, just kind of putting over the different people in Diamond Mine, which I thought was good, trying to put them over a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And then they said they wanted to do an open challenge. Then Bobby Fish comes in. And Bobby Fish says, open challenge? I'd love that. And then Roderick Strong is like, hey, it's not against me. It's against Tyler Rust. And I was like, is that all you're going to do about their history together? About being in Undisputed Era? And like Strong was basically the replacement for Bobby Fish while Bobby Fish was out injured. But then they were together after he came back. And then there's so much to like play off here. And there's nothing. There's just open challenge. I want in. And that was it. And I was like, well, I just feel like there was a lot left on the table for that, which is a bit unfortunate. And then I got a worrying feeling. I was like, oh no, they don't care about Bobby Fish, do they? And then I kind of got my feelings confirmed with their match later on. Oh boy, which I guess we might as well talk about now. Go for it. Which was a very short match. And Roderick Strong kind of got up on the apron after about 2 minutes. Bobby Fish got distracted. Tyler Rust hit a buzzsaw kick and then won. And then that was it. And then he was going to get beaten up after the match. And then Kushida came down for a save. Ooh, Bobby. They do not care about you, buddy.
I think Bobby Fish is going to make a really good coach at the Performance Center one day.
Yes. Great shout. He's a very, very good technical, sound wrestler. He can make a very good coach.
Yeah. I mean, like, he came back, and I was like, I don't think he's got a high ceiling. He lost his first match to Pete Dunne. Mm-hmm. Set up a program with Oni Lorcan that I don't think they've gone back to. He just was kickboxing or punching a punching bag one day in the gym. I was like, I haven't forgotten about you, Oni. And then proceeded to forget about Oni Lorcan. So who cares about storytelling? Mm-hmm. And now he's losing to the secondary member of Diamond Mine in 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. Writing's on the wall there. I'm not saying that he should beat Tyler Rust because you got to put over the Diamond Mine for sure. But I think this just kind of goes to show what they think of Bobby Fish. He's very clearly the fourth guy out of Undisputed Era. And it sucks because I really like Bobby Fish. Yep.
It's just a shame. When you look at how the other members were treated on the show, you know, Roddy didn't do a whole lot, but he was the reason why Bobby Fish lost, and he was somewhat being protected. And he's like the leader of this new faction and stuff. You got the promo from Adam Cole, which was amazing. And you got the promo from Kyle O'Reilly, which was very interesting, which we'll get into later. And Bobby was just here. No, and Bobby was just here losing in 2 minutes. It's such a shame for him. But Tyler Rust got a win. I'm still not super into Diamond Mine yet. They haven't really given me a reason to be super invested yet. But
that's exactly what I was going to say. They haven't given me a reason to care. And I gave them a pass like the first week and the second week because it was early. It's no longer early. They've been here for like a month now. We need to pick up the pace here. Yeah. You know, considering how quickly and effectively they hooked me with stuff like Hit Row. They can make a faction come in and have immediate impact. Mm-hmm. Diamond Mine has like been the opposite. They're just a group of mid-card guys. And I need to know what they're about. Give me a reason to care.
Yeah, totally. We got a little promo for Ikemen and Jiro for the breakout tournament. This is exactly the kind of promo that I said that we said they should totally do, which was them just saying, hey, this is why I wrestle. This is why I'm here. I want to win the breakout tournament. Perfect. Do more of this. He did a little bit in English, a little bit in Japanese. It was great. Loved it. Very likable character, very charismatic. It's perfect.
My favorite part of this, he's doing his thing. He's saying his spiel. And parts of it are full on Japanese. Parts of it are like kind of broken English. Mm-hmm. And one bit, he says, and I'm going to beat your ass. And in the bottom, subtitles, I'm going to beat your butt. I was like, that is such WWE.
It's so funny. I loved it. It was great. It can make you buy into the character immediately. Something that, I don't know, maybe they should do for Diamond Mine. Just an idea. Yeah. Anyway, we then had the first of three. We'll talk about all of them now because we might as well. We had several promos with LA Knight and Cameron Grimes. where we had 3 in the night. In the first one, LA Knight kind of brought in Cameron Grimes and said, you need to get trimmed up because you look terrible. And I was like, oh no, they're going to shave off his beard. They're going to make him have short hair. This is going to be a terrible thing. They kind of just neatened up the beard a bit and put it in a ponytail. And I was like, oh, that's fine, I guess. Whatever. Mm-hmm. The thing that annoyed me, and this was a running theme through the whole thing, and I think you mentioned this on your edited review as well. It feels like the story's been inverted because the point of this is that Cameron Grimes should be getting worked over. He should be the guy that's getting screwed over by being his butler. And the entire time, LA Knight was the one who was on the wrong end of the stick the whole time through all of these segments. And that somewhat cheapens the stipulation of you've got to be my butler if you lose, completely cheapens that stipulation if Grimes is going to be happy being his butler. It's just was a weird way to go in the first week to go about it this way. I thought was very, very strange.
Yeah, I'll be like, I don't want to come across like I am super negative about everything on this show because it was good stuff, but I really didn't like this. It felt so counterintuitive to what they're doing, where up to this point, things have been going very well. And like, yeah, there were some funny bits in it, but that shouldn't be the point. We're not at the payoff of this yet. You still need to build. And they forgot about the whole build part of it, you know? Yeah. Like I said in the edited review that it would have been so much more effective to had Grimes get humiliated and humiliated and humiliated after a few weeks. And then eventually here's the payoff. It's the next match. Like, and people are saying that I hate fun. It's like, no, I don't. That's not the point here.
You just like storytelling.
I like good storytelling.
Yeah.
Folks.
And you can have good storytelling with fun. Like
I don't understand.
And it was objectively quite funny. These guys are naturally very charismatic, very funny people. And yeah, you can have the comedy, but just make the comedy make sense. Like it's not hard to do. Just switch the people. Have Grimes getting worked over, and you can still have him be funny while getting annoyed at being a butler. Like Grimes is a guy that is so naturally charismatic that he can make anything, even getting worked over. He can beat the whole thing with the whole Ted DiBiase skits was him getting annoyed at Ted DiBiase and getting the wrong end of the stick the whole time. And people loved it because he was so funny in that role. Like, you just need to do that again until you build to the flip of the power and you have Cameron Grimes come out on top. Like that's 101 storytelling, man. Like, I don't know. Yeah, just whatever. And that was the first one with the makeover. Sorry, just real quick. The second one was LA Knight says you need to mow the lawn, and Grimes goes to get in a big mower, and he's like, no, you need to do it by hand with this thing, and Grimes goes off and does that. And then the third one, you come back, and Grimes is like, hey, I'm your butler, but I'm still very rich, so I hired someone else to do it. He's just finishing up. And then LA Knight says, hey, I have a strict no kids policy. You need to get out of here. And then Grimes ends up getting pushed in. Knight ends up getting pushed into the pool, courtesy of Grimes picking up a rake. It's funny. It's objectively funny, but like, it's just the wrong person ended up in the pool. That's it.
And I've seen a number of people here saying, oh, you guys just lack patience. This isn't the part you're supposed to be patient about. You're supposed to be patient and wait for the payoff of pushing him into the pool.
I think we're the patient ones. We want the story to take longer.
This is so backwards. Like, what? Be patient. Be patient for chapter 1 when they've skipped over to chapter 6. What are you people on? I don't get it. Oh weird. My god, let's move on.
Yeah. Anyway, we then got that Tyler Russ Bobby Fish match, as we mentioned before. Samoa Joe goes backstage and reminds Karrion Kross of the rules of their match later, which I thought was really cool. He just speaks to Kross. Kross ignores him, so then he kicks the punching bag and he's like, do you understand me? I was like, oh god, I love Joe. He doesn't have to do much and I love him. I love
this stuff. I really do. Like, they never seem to do these little detail things with the special guest referee bits. And now, of course, because it's NXT and there's more attention to detail, they did it. And it's just like, oh, it's the little things that make me like this show that much more, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. Beth Phoenix backstage tells Indy Hartwell that sometimes she just needs to take a chance. Save your rant, Tempest. Save your rant for later.
There wasn't that much index stuff on this show. My problem with it is not the index part of it. But we'll get to it.
No, we've moved on from the LA Knight Cameron Grimm stuff. Sorry, I was going to bring up a comment, and I'm not doing it because we've already moved on.
I've seen it. Yeah, I don't know
I'm moving on from it. It's fine. We then got Sarray versus Gigi Dolin, who originally this was going to be against Toni Storm, but Toni Storm said no, and then she's gone up to SmackDown. It looks like so. I guess they
you're
won't
never getting this match, Sarray.
So I guess they're not doing that match. Sure. I thought Gigi Dolin looked pretty good in this match, I'll be honest. And the match was fine. You know, it wasn't anything spectacular or anything, but it was all right. This is where we got Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose comes in, who is obviously part of the well-known tag team with her and Dana Brooke on Raw, where they've done so much as a tag team. And she comes out on the stage and stands there for a bit and watches the match. And then the match carries on. They both stop and go, Mandy Rose? And then they stop for a bit. Sorry, and then they just carry on wrestling.
What did they do?
They go, Mandy Rose. I'm pretty sure that was the exact audio that I got from the show there. So then they watch her for a bit, and then they carry on wrestling. Sarray's dropkick through the ropes, when the person's sitting on the bottom rope, and then she just does the drop kick and just follows all the way through, will pop me every single time. It was the same way that you popped for the Johnny on the corner of the desk thing. I do that for this drop kick. I saw it coming. I was like, oh God. And I was like, oh my God. She just kicks him in the face. It's great. But yeah, Sarray won and Mandy Rose watched.
Yep.
Cool.
I didn't have much to say about all this. Like,
nope.
Sarray's just kind of spinning her tires, which is fine until they find something for her to do, but I'm about ready for them to find something for her to do. And that was probably Toni Storm, but too bad. Tough luck.
Yeah, guess she's on SmackDown now. Santos Escobar and LDF cut a promo backstage. Him just saying like, hey, Bronson Reed is bad and Hit Row are bad and Swerve is bad and also Dexter Lumis is bad and I'm great. It was all right. I thought it was good. Yep. It was weird that Joaquin Wilde was just like, Dexter's got really bad music. I can't even dance to it. And I was like, what?
They're giving him a thing. They're giving him a thing. They're gonna make him a dancing guy. He does a dance, but they're gonna make him the dancing guy. I don't know. That's a good thing.
And then we got Dexter Lumis versus Santos Escobar. So I'm going to say my very quick piece on this. Santos won with some distractions from LDF. And afterwards, Santos is on the ramp and Hit Row come out because Santos was talking mad S-word earlier. So then they come out on the ramp and we're just like, hey, what up? And then Legado del Fantasma walk off. Tempest, I'll hand over to you.
Oh, thanks, P. That's very kind of you. We talked about this before this show went on because we don't want to spend too much time arguing or discussing the merits of Dexter Lumis. But I feel like we came to an understanding here that when he does his stoic, cold, emotionless gimmick, it's very effective and interesting. There's a lot of things they could do with that. But his stupid crab spider walk thing kills me every time. There's no logical reason for someone to do this in a fight. And there's no logical reason for your former cruiserweight champion who can fall off a ladder and be fearless and go in there against anybody and take on all comers and blah, blah, blah. Oh my God. Oh, creepy man. Oh my God. I got to roll out of the ring. Oh my God. Like, just kick him in the goddamn face. You're a wrestler. I felt the same way about Bray Wyatt every time he would do his little spider walk. It's like people would run away and be like, oh, God, just kick him in the face. You're a wrestler. Just kick him in the face. And when they went to the break and came back, he really didn't do any of that stuff afterwards. And the match greatly improved. Funny how that worked. Because that's the problem here. If it was just some guy who couldn't do anything, I don't know that I would be that mad about it. But Dexter Lumis can work. And if he just did his regular character, like the stoic thing that we saw in the first 20 seconds of the match, where Santos Escobar goes to try and hit him, and he kind of blocks it, but he's cold, and then he gets knocked down, but he does a kip up, and he's still cold. That's really cool. There's a lot of stuff you could do with that. That is so much more intriguing than him just being a freak. Why is he a freak?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I just hate it. Like, anytime Dexter Lumis is on this show in an extended matter, it makes the show significantly worse. Significantly worse. This was the worst match I've seen in NXT in a while. In a good long while, and Aaliyah wrestled on this show.
I don't think it was that bad. After that, we got Kyle O'Reilly did a backstage interview. I thought this was really interesting because I had to go back and listen to this again because I was like, wait, hold on a minute. What did Kyle say exactly here? Because this was really interesting. So I thought this was just going to be a little sit-down interview where Kyle was just like, hey, man, I lost against Adam Cole, but I'm still going to fight. I'm Kyle O'Reilly. I'm going to come back stronger than ever, and I'm going to take back what's mine. I'm going to become NXT champion. But this was not that promo.
Nope.
Kyle O'Reilly said, he was in an interview with Wade Barrett, and sit-down pre-recorded interview, and he said he was watching the footage back from his match against Adam Cole last week at Great American Bash, and he said he struggled to recognize who he was. Where's the killer instinct? And I was like, okay, interesting. And then he was saying, I was saying before that I wanted to get my soul back after I gave it up to the Undisputed Era, but now I'm thinking, do I even need it back? I mean, I used to do things differently, sure, but I got the job done. And I was like, are they teasing a Kyle O'Reilly heel turn? Like, what's happening here? This is very interesting. And but then, he's still adamant that he needs to beat Adam Cole. And he's saying, I'm not the guy that can and will beat Adam Cole. I'm the guy that can and will finish Adam Cole. And I was like, Kyle O'Reilly's losing it because he lost to Adam Cole. This is really interesting character work. A guy who's put so much emphasis on beating Adam Cole, and he beat him the first time in the unsanctioned match, and then he couldn't beat him in the straight up singles match at Great American Bash. This guy is now losing it a little bit, and he's like, maybe I do need to go back to what I was doing in Undisputed Era. I was a champion when I was in Undisputed Era, and now I'm not a champion. Huh? Isn't that weird? That is fascinating character work for me. I'm super invested in this.
It's kind of reminiscent of another NXT feud where the babyface won in the first match in an unsanctioned match, couldn't win the second match, and then started going a little crazy.
Huh. Funny how that works.
Funny how that works. Yeah. I like it because it makes the second match have consequences.
Yes.
If Kyle O'Reilly is forced to change because of a loss, that's good. I like that.
Yes, I agree. God, I like this a lot. We got the second LA Knight Grimes thing. We then saw in the ad break that Indy Hartwell, we're back to Dexter Lumis, Indy Hartwell attempted to carry out Dexter Lumis after their match. And I was like, that's a nice reversal of a thing. And then they fall over and then they nearly kiss. But then Candice LeRae comes out and pushes Indy off of Dexter and boo, they almost kissed.
See, when I have a bunch of people go in and defend the Cameron Grimes LA Knight thing, makes me feel better when a lot of the same people defend this stuff. It's like, all right, just tell me that you don't understand storytelling. Like you're allowed to like it, but it's a bad story. Like, where's the love story here? It's not a story. It's a series of events that don't relate to one another.
They just like each other, Tempest. Don't question.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
Why do they like each other, Pete? Why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we then got the first match of the breakout tournament from 2021.
This was fun.
I've just seen Luke in the chat. You're a bad
hi,
story,
Luke.
Tempest.
Thanks, Luke.
Yeah, we then got the first match of the breakout tournament, which was Ikemen Jiro versus Duke Hudson. Now, I didn't know, and I don't know if you do either. Duke Hudson is Brendan Vink, who was on the main roster. He was on Raw. He was with MVP for a bit. I had no idea it was the same guy until I started watching the match, and I was like, wait a second. I recognize this guy. Is this Brendan Vink? And I looked it up and I was like, oh my God, it totally is. So Vink is back as Duke Hudson, because I don't think either of us mentioned that on last week's show when we were running down all the competitors in the breakout tournament. And yeah, I've barely seen anyone talking about it online that it's the same person. So I was like, huh, interesting. I thought this was very fun. And I'll tell you what as well, I think the right person won as well. Here's a hot take for you. I think the right person won because Ikemen Jiro is so easy to get on board with.
Sorry, I just saw something that's really dumb. Sorry. He's overthinking it. Not everything has to be good. All right. I also think the right person won here. Sorry, that just absolutely threw me.
Sorry, that was great. Because Ikemen Jiro is such an easy character to get on board with. It's someone you can watch one match, you go, I get it. I get you. Yeah. I understand. This is great. I get it.
Very charismatic.
Exactly. Yeah. And someone like Duke Hudson is someone you need a bit of time because his thing that's going to get him over is his wrestling, his size, his power, his intangible being strength. It's that kind of thing that will get him over in time. But you need more matches for him to kind of solidify that in fans' minds. Whereas we can keep watching Ikemen Jiro on future episodes of NXT, and people will be like, "Hey, I like you. You're great." He's already going to be over from this one exposure that he's already had. Whereas Duke Hudson takes more time. I think him advancing in the tournament is great. Yeah. And I thought this was good.
I said in the edited review that I would have booked the tournament different so that both of these guys could advance. But at the same time, there's only 8 of them in it. So, and you also have, I would imagine that Carmelo Hayes and Dexter, or not Dexter, God damn it, Trey Baxter.
He's in your mind, Tempest.
I know, rent free. That Trey Baxter, he's got an X in his name. It's very similar. Trey Baxter will probably both advance. I don't know about the rest of it. I would think Odyssey Jones will also advance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's all of them. That's 4 guys. So eventually you kind of have to start saying okay, well, it's not going to be this guy. It's not going to be this guy. It's not going to be this guy, So you got to do what you got to do. But there you go. It was a good match. I really enjoyed the match.
Yeah.
This match was fun.
It was very fun. And I think, Hudson going on. I'm excited. Only Lorcan and Pete Dunne were backstage. Dunne says he doesn't care who wins in the NXT title match. And then says, ask Johnny who's the baddest man in NXT. Go to Karrion Kross. I had him in that triangle choke and he had no response for me. I'm the baddest man. I'm the greatest. But then Timothy Thatcher comes in and he's saying, well, what are you? Are you the baddest man in NXT or are you the best technical worker in NXT? And Pete Dunne's like, who's asking? Ciampa comes in, big brawl. I think that'll be a fun little program. Lorcan and Dunne versus Thatcher and Ciampa.
Absolutely.
I'm into it. That should be good. Yeah. Cool.
Very fun.
Anyway, we then got a recap of Zoe Stark and Io Shirai winning the women's tag team titles, and then we got a match of Caden Carter versus Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro. God, there's a lot of K's and C's in that. Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro versus Aaliyah and Jessie Kamea. It was a match. Whatever.
This was Wrestling 101.
Yeah.
This was as basic a tag match, and it was still kind of bleh.
And then afterwards, the match happened. And Carter and Catanzaro won. I like their finisher, the neck break with the 450. I think that's really cool. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, Aaliyah turns on Robert Stone, and the crowd pop massively for it. And I was like, what's happening? What am I missing? It's like Tamina at WrestleMania. I'm like, what am I missing? Why are people so credit to Aaliyah, credit to the fans, whatever. If you want to make a moment out of it, by all means, they can do it, and they've made the moment better for it. Great. I'm really happy for Aaliyah that she got a big reaction and all that stuff. I don't get it, personally. I don't understand. But great. Happy for her. Aaliyah turns to Robert Stone, beats him up a little bit, and then just as he's getting away, Jessie Kamea is like, do I go with Aaliyah? Do I not? I don't know what to do. And then Frankie Monet comes in, of all people, and she kind of takes Jessie Kamea and Robert Stone away with her. And then there was a backstage segment where Mandy Rose comes back to them and says, well, it looks like the Robert Stone brand is under new management, and then walks away. And I was like, what is all of this?
I don't know.
What's happening? I genuinely think that the Robert Stone brand might be the least successful act in NXT history. Like, not saying like the worst or anything like that, but the least successful. I mean, like, it had Chelsea Green. Off she went, I had nothing. It was a really terrible debut for the group. You had like Aaliyah and Jessie Kamea. You had Mercedes Martinez at one point, and she buggered off as well because she went up for Retribution. Remember that? And then, and now you've got Aaliyah's left, and now Frankie Monet has come in and is kind of running the group, but it's still called the Robert Stone brand. Who's what?
Yeah, I said last week that I would keep Frankie Monet far away from all of this. And now she's like leading them. I just don't think this is a good idea. Like at all.
Yeah.
Why would you attach yourself to the anchor of the NXT roster? Just this whole thing. They're portrayed as geeks. They never win matches. And Robert Stone is a loser. He's a geek. He's a buffoon.
But now you see, Tempest. Now they're going to have Mandy Rose, and all of their fortunes are going to turn around. It's going to be Frankie Monet, Jessie Kamea, and Mandy Rose as a strong faction. Anyway,
see, do you think that's what it is? Because I think that Mandy Rose might head up her own little women's faction maybe and take on the Robert Stone brand. I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Anywho,
we then had Samoa Joe backstage, reminds Johnny Gargano of the rules from the main event. I also thought this was very good. Again, plays off their dynamics and stuff. Very, very good. We had the third LA Knight and Cameron Grimes skit. And then we had Adam Cole cutting a wonderful promo. God, Adam Cole, so good.
Yes.
Says that he's completely done with Kyle O'Reilly, and he kind of mocks all the things that Cole said in his sit-down interview earlier. And he's like, I walked through the fire. And he's like, yeah, and you got burned by Adam Cole. It was just brilliant. He says that Samoa Joe's a coward. He says he's crept up behind him and he attacked him. He's not scared of him. You're just You're just a guy in a suit, whatever. You won't come down here and face me man to man. I know you won't. It's great. I love it. And yeah, says there's no one who's man enough to go toe-to-toe with him. Out comes Bronson Reed. And I was like, that's a choice.
Mm-hmm.
I love Bronson Reed. You guys know I love Bronson Reed. I thought he was off to the main roster. I didn't think he was going to be seen on NXT again. I thought that was that. Like, he dropped the dropped the North American Championship, and then that's it kind of thing. But yeah, he comes out and he says, hey, I've got nothing to lose anymore. I lost the North American title, and now I have nothing. What's scarier than a man who's got nothing to lose? Comes out, he gets the best of Adam Cole here. Cool. If they're going to have Bronson Reed have a little bit more in NXT before he gets called up, great. Stick him in with Adam Cole. Why not? He's probably going to lose, but if anyone's going to make him look good in defeat, it's going to be Adam Cole. So yeah, I'm up for that. Adam Cole can get another good win against a solid talent, someone who's been pretty well built up. Cool. Yeah.
My favorite part of this whole promo segment was like right near the top where he made light of something that Kyle O'Reilly said during the promo earlier in the show, where Kyle O'Reilly said like, hey man, like losing happens. It's part of life.
Yes.
And that sort of stuff. Because there was a part of me who wanted to say like, no, you need to live and die by this defeat. And he ended up kind of getting there, saying that he needs to beat Adam Cole, and it's really affecting him. So I was okay with that. But when Adam Cole then goes out and says, like, yeah, losing's part of life for someone like Kyle O'Reilly, not like me, I was like, oh, that's why you're the star. That's why you're the top guy around here. Absolutely. I love that. I love wins and losses mattering. And Adam Cole made them feel like they mattered. So shout out to Adam Cole. This was a very enjoyable promo.
Yeah, and him literally just being like, he's just such a dick when he says it. He's literally like looking straight in the camera and he's like, losing is part of life. If your name's Kyle O'Reilly, it's like, oh, yeah, shut up, Cole, you're the best. And then we got that little backstage segment with Frankie Monet and Mandy Rose, and then we got the main event, which we've already spoken about. So overall, I thought this was an okay show. You know, there were quite a lot of things on this show. There were some minor, some major that I didn't really like. I thought the storytelling and the Grimes Night stuff didn't really make sense. I thought they should have waited on that for the dynamics to be flipped. The main event was super fun, and I'm really excited to see where Joe and Kross stuff goes. Adam Cole is still amazing. I thought the quality of in-ring wrestling was mostly good. There were a couple of not great ones in there, but mostly pretty good. Overall, I'd given this a 3.5 out of 5, something like that. Yep.
I'm with you. I thought the main event was really good. I thought the opening match was good. I thought the Adam Cole promo and the Ikemen, Jiro, Duke Hudson matches were both good. Everything else on the show I thought was okay at best. So I'm going to kind of split that right down the middle and say 3 out of 5.
Totally fair. Let's get into the rest of your Ultra Chats here before we get out of here. Last chance to get those in. WrestleTalk.com/support is the link to do it. Last chance for those, and we'll read all of them that are $5 and up before the show ends. Joe Strikes comes in to say, I don't think Joe will wrestle. Joe will give Kross the beating of a lifetime. Murdered so bad, Vacant wins another title. Kross just then randomly shows up on the main roster, and this is all to build Joe's role and not have him wrestle. I don't know if I'd like that. Yeah, I don't know if I'd like that. I still think it would be a little bit of an anticlimax if Joe doesn't have a match. Even if he just beats up Kross and forces him to vacate the title or whatever. I still don't think that would be enough, personally.
It also, I don't know if the point of this Ultra Chat is to get Kross to the main roster without beating him, but beating him up so bad that he vacates the title essentially serves the same narrative purpose. So I don't think that would make too much of a difference, but I don't know. We'll see. I would prefer to just see Joe wrestle.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We got one here from Trevor L. It says, just got my ticket to the September 20th Raw. Thanks for the Hawks Oilers reference, Tempest. We need more hockey mentions. Thanks for doing everything you do and keep it up. Thank you very much, Trevor L.
Thank you, Trevor.
Appreciate it. And I hope you have fun at the September 20th Raw. I think that is it for the Ultra Chats, unless you guys have any more that are coming in. I don't think you do. So we're going to end it there. We've got Money in the Bank predictions happening in literally 7 minutes time on this YouTube channel. So stay tuned because those will be coming up immediately after this. But that will do it for the NXT review today. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming out and watching. If you're watching on Catch Up, please press the videos that have just appeared on the screen to catch up with more awesome WrestleTalk podcast content, and the button in the middle that will make you become a pledge hammer over on Patreon. I have been Chopper Pete Quinnell, your Jam That Champion, and still will be after this Sunday, because why would I defend my belt? And joined, obviously, by your Quizlemania champion, Tempest the Wrestler. And that was NXT.
Bye.